You are exhausted. It is 11 p.m. The baby will not stop crying. You have read 3 parenting books, watched 40 YouTube videos, and downloaded 2 apps that contradict each other. You have been alone with this child for 6 hours, and you are running out of ideas. Every decision feels like it is yours alone to make. Every mistake feels like it is yours alone to carry. This is what modern parenting looks like, and it is making millions of people miserable. But here's what nobody tells you. This is not how humans raised children for 300,000 years. The exhaustion you feel right now is not a parenting failure. It is a structural failure. You were never supposed to do this alone. And the moment you understand what ancient humans actually did, you will never look at modern parenting the same way again. The assumption most people make is that ancient parents were tougher, that they raised children in harder conditions with fewer resources and simply pushed through, that modern parents have it easier with our hospitals and formula and pediatricians, and we should be grateful. That assumption is wrong, and the data dismantles it completely. In 2009, anthropologist Sarah Hrdy published a landmark study on human child rearing that changed how scientists understand our species. Her conclusion was not what anyone expected. Humans, she argued, did not evolve to raise children in nuclear families. We evolved as cooperative breeders. Every other great ape raises its offspring almost exclusively through the mother. Chimpanzee mothers carry their infants alone. Gorilla mothers nurse alone. But human infants, Hrdy argued, were designed from the beginning to be raised by a network. Not 2 parents, not one, a village. The evidence for this is written directly into human biology. Human infants are the most helpless creatures born to any primate on Earth. A newborn chimpanzee can grip its mother's fur within hours of birth. A newborn human cannot hold up its own head for months. A foal stands and walks within an hour. A human child cannot walk for a year, cannot feed itself for years, cannot survive independently for over a decade. No single mother in the ancient world could have kept a human infant alive alone. The biology of human helplessness is not a design flaw. It is a design requirement. It forces the group to participate. And participate they did. Anthropologist David Lancy spent decades studying child rearing across dozens of traditional societies. His findings were consistent across every culture he examined. In hunter-gatherer bands, children did not belong to their parents alone. They belonged to the camp. Every adult in a group of 25 to 50 people was functionally responsible for every child in that group. An infant could be passed between 6 different adults in a single afternoon. A toddler who wandered toward the fire would be redirected by whoever was closest, not just the mother. A child who fell would be picked up by whatever pair of hands was nearest. This is what researchers now call alloparenting. Allo meaning other. Parenting by people other than the biological mother and father. And in hunter-gatherer communities, alloparenting was not a backup system, it was the primary system. A 2016 study published in the Proceedings of the Royal Society found that in traditional societies, mothers provided only about half of the total care received by infants. The other half came from grandmothers, aunts, older siblings, unrelated adults, and adolescents learning to parent by doing it. The most important alloparent in human evolutionary history was not the father, it was the grandmother. Anthropologist Kristen Hawkes at the University of Utah spent years studying the Hadza of Tanzania and noticed something that changed how we understand human longevity entirely. Hadza grandmothers were the most productive food gatherers in the entire camp. Women in their 50s and 60s consistently brought back more food per day than mothers in their 20s, and when grandmothers were present, infant survival rates increased dramatically. Hawkes called this the grandmother hypothesis. It explains why human women live for decades past menopause when no other primate does. Grandmothers kept our species alive. They were not retired, they were essential. Now look at what modern life did to this system. The nuclear family replaced the band. The apartment replaced the camp. The babysitter replaced the grandmother. The parenting book replaced the village elder. We took a child-rearing system that evolved over 300,000 years and stripped it down to 2 people, or 1, and told them to figure it out alone. And then we wondered why parental burnout became an epidemic. A 2023 study published in the Journal of Child Psychology found that parental loneliness and isolation are now among the strongest predictors of poor child outcomes in developed nations. Not poverty, not education level, not even screen time. Isolation. The same variable that ancient human social structure was specifically designed to prevent. But here's what is most remarkable about how ancient humans raised children. It was not just about survival, it was about education. And the method they used is so different from modern schooling that it barely resembles it at all. In every hunter-gatherer society ever studied, children learned by watching and doing, not by being taught. not by sitting in rows and receiving instruction. A 3-year-old Hrdy girl played beside her mother while her mother dug for tubers. She had her own small digging stick. Nobody taught her how to use it. She watched. She copied. She tried. She failed. She tried again. By 6, she could find food independently. By 10, she was contributing meaningfully to the family's caloric intake. A Hrdy boy of 8 could be sent out alone with a bow and return with a bird, not because someone taught him archery in a structured lesson, because he had spent years watching, practicing alongside older children, failing in low-stakes situations, and building competence through accumulated experience. Anthropologist David Lancy called this the LOPI model, learning by observing and pitching in. It is the oldest educational system in human history, and it produced children who were genuinely competent, genuinely confident, and genuinely useful to the people around them. Modern children spend 12 years in age-segregated classrooms, being instructed by adults in abstract skills they will not use for years. Ancient children spent every day in mixed age groups, learning real skills in real time with real consequences. A 2019 paper in the journal Developmental Review found that children in mixed-age playgroups develop social competence, emotional regulation, and problem-solving skills significantly faster than children in age-segregated environments. The ancient system was not primitive. It was precise. There is one more piece that nobody in the parenting conversation ever talks about. Ancient humans did not hover. The concept of a parent monitoring a child's every move, scheduling every hour, protecting them from every risk, would have been completely foreign to every hunter-gatherer society ever documented. Anthropologists studying the Kung Bushmen, the Hadza, the Matsigenka of Peru, and the Aka of Central Africa all noted the same pattern. Children had enormous autonomy. They roamed, they climbed, they got hurt, they resolved their own conflicts. Adults were present and available, but they did not intervene constantly. Peter Gray, a developmental psychologist at Boston College, has argued for decades that the collapse of free play in modern childhood is one of the most significant and underreported public health crises of our time. Between 1955 and 2015, the time American children spent in unsupervised free play dropped by over 75%. In the same period, rates of childhood anxiety, depression, and narcissism all rose sharply. Gray's conclusion is direct. We are raising children in conditions that violate every principle of how human children evolved to develop. Your ancestors did not raise children in isolation. They did not raise them with instruction manual. They did not protect them from every difficulty or schedule every moment of their day. They raised them inside a web of relationships so dense and reliable that no single parent could fail alone. The grandmother was there. The aunts were there. The older children were there. The whole camp was there. The exhaustion you feel at 11 p.m. is real, but it is not a sign that you are doing it wrong. It is a sign that you are doing it alone. And alone is the one thing human children were never designed for.